feel bad for the people that are listening to this with like AirPods in and they're working out because of the kazoo Mission Impossible. That's immediately what I thought of when I is like someone working out.
We turned it down. I turned it down.
That's true.
I turned it down a lot. It could be worse.
It could be way worse.
That's the thing is you can almost like take people's hearing health into your hands.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
All right, everyone. My name's Cole, and this is...
I'm Stella with my burrito blanket today.
And we are excited about the Youth Mini Mic podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Get there. You did it.
Mini Mic podcast. So we wanted to talk a little bit. We're taking a step back. The last two episodes, we just dove in like head first. And so what we're doing this episode is taking a step back and talking about why. Like why you should listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
Why we're making a podcast and why we're excited about just the things that God is doing in 2024.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's start with
who we are, or
that's not. I didn't even say we were gonna do that, but let's do that. Let's start with who is Miss Stella Erickson, the burrito girl.
Hey, okay, I do like burritos actually. That's a little, yeah. I'm Stella. I am 16, and I'm on a podcast, which I feel like you don't see that a lot as a 16-year-old person on my podcast.
You know, if you want to start one, you could be 12, but yes,
that's true. But yeah, my hobby is I like to read and sleep. I'm like chronically tired all the time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should drink more water.
It helps. I try. I do try.
You can't fall asleep if you have to pee.
That's true. There are other ways around that. You can wear a diaper when you sleep.
Okay. So, what's your favorite book?
My favorite book, probably... Am I supposed to say the Bible? Is this a trick question?
No, you can say a different book, I guess. It's disappointing.
Okay. Well, the Bible's great, but...
Outside of the Bible.
Probably...
Psalms. Just kidding. Outside of a book of the Bible, your favorite book is...
Probably Where the Crawdads Sing. I'd be like...
Oh, that's a new one.
That's... The movie's new. My phone keeps going off. Yeah, I like that book. There's a lot to be taken out of it and like just to think on, just because the character... It's also... I like it because I feel like it's not a book that's... You hear about a lot. Like the topic and whatever is going on in it. I feel like it's not very common in written books that often.
What is it about?
It's basically about this girl. It's set in like the 50s or 60s.
Okay.
And she lives in... Her and her family, they live in this like little shack house in the swamp of... I think it's like one of the Carolinas or something. And her dad was in the war and he became very abusive after that.
Sure.
And then
like PTSD stuff.
Yeah. So then slowly like she's she's the youngest, and slowly like her family like starts like leaving because of her dad. And then eventually it was just her and her dad, and he ended up leaving too. So then it was just her by herself, basically learning how to live and like how to like keeping up like with the house and like making her own food and like all this stuff. And like and then like
it's like a survival book.
It kind of is, but it's also
not.
No, it's not, because then I don't know what it's called, like Child Protective Services. They
CPS.
CPS. They're like, she needs to go to school because she's like 7 and she's by herself.
Sure.
And so they try and put her in school, but she didn't like it because like all the kids were like being mean to her because she lives in like the swamp area. And yeah, so then it's kind of like deals with her being like, oh, what's the word?
I don't know.
I forgot what the word is, but like her community was pushing her away because they thought that she was like weird and like all this stuff. And then it like goes into more of her like she became really appreciative of like what she had, and like she like learned about all the animals in the swamp. And then there's more of it too of like then it becomes like then she becomes put on trial eventually in the murder, because it goes back and forth between her past growing up and then her being put on trial for killing someone. But
Oh.
I like it because it's just really interesting. And
Yeah,
there's a
I'm
lot.
never gonna read it probably.
I think you should. It's really good. Then watch the movie. The movie's
Yeah,
really good.
I've thought about that because it's on Netflix or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I've went past it quite a few times.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
I just don't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you'd like to share about yourself?
No.
Okay.
Nothing really interesting about me.
Just talk about the book for like 3 minutes and
Yeah,
then
I
don't
did.
say anything else.
I
So Stella is also a PSEO student
am.
at
Yeah,
Crown
that's true.
College.
Uh-huh.
She is the youngest of four,
Three.
three,
Yeah.
three kids,
I'm
and
an aunt. I'm an auntie.
she's a
Recently.
recently auntie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's
You're an
adorable.
aunt.
I am an aunt.
Super cute little baby that
Yeah.
is in a cool house with cool parents.
Yeah, they're pretty cool parents. My brother's
A great cook.
That's true. He's
And
really good cook.
he owns a food truck, so it's pretty dope.
Uh-huh.
If you come to youth here, we're going to have his food truck out sometime. I promise. It's gonna happen.
Wait, actually?
Oh, it's in. I mean,
That'd be sick.
it's an aspiration.
It's
It's a dream.
It's called Carolina Flair, so it's a little spicy.
Yeah, it changed recently.
Yeah.
The name and stuff.
Yeah, it did. It's
I'm
just
all
I
about
think it's I
spice.
think it's just Junebug now. But it's
Spice is life.
but it's no, it's really good. They're chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, so we're excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how to drive,
I do know how to drive.
even though you struggle to drive.
I don't struggle. I struggle with other people on the road.
Yeah, it would be so much easier to drive if there was no one else there.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not here.
Yeah.
So,
PCO student.
any else fun stuff? Junior, gonna graduate with a couple of years of college under your belt.
Hopefully. Yeah,
And
that's
you'll graduate at 17.
yeah, because I'm young for my grade. My birthday's in May, so I'm
Look
young
at
for
you
my
go,
grade.
just better than everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm old for my grade.
Are you really?
Yep, I'm 25 years old.
Oh yeah, and your birthday's
And
in September, right? Or
My
is it
birthday's in October, so I
October.
was a year older than everyone for the most part. I graduated at 18 still,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, it just felt weird because some kids were younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And kids got to start school before me, so I was sad. But anyways, I have a wife, I have a baby and a baby coming,
Mm-hmm.
and I love youth ministry. I love all ministry, but I really love the youthies,
The youthies.
the mini micers that listen to our podcast, and that I just really like the stage of life where you have the freedom to do things and pursue God and be intentional with your time. And I really like what kids are excited about these days.
Yeah.
What did you just do?
I don't want my blanket on the floor.
Okay. Because of the ants.
Yeah.
There's an ant infestation in this room.
Yeah, and I'm
But we're
scared.
fixing it, so don't worry. Anyways, so that's a little bit about us, and kind of like RL Youth. You might see RL Youth, River of Life Youth. We are a youth group in Elk River, Minnesota, and we just chase Jesus every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
In big group with worship and teaching, and then small groups where we go a little bit deeper, pray for each other, and try to encourage each other throughout the week. So it's a good time. If you're around the area, we'd love to have you check us out. I say that like I know a lot of our students are watching, but we have a good amount of people that watch us on YouTube and different things like that. So it's really fun. Yeah, shout out to all of our YouTube subscribers. If you're one of them, we have roughly 450 YouTube subscribers, and we've gotten them within the last 40 days, which is really cool. 45 days. We started YouTube in November and had a couple things go off, and people are subscribing. So we're excited about that and excited that yeah, we can just like talk to more people.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Welcome.
Welcome. And now you know I'm Cole. This is Stella. And you won't be so lost when you see the Mini Micers podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, why Stella is the podcast important to you? Like to do this? Like why are you excited about it? And like what inspired you to reach out to me and say, let's start a podcast?
Well, I feel like when you listen to a podcast, there's so many podcasts out there, and the reason why people like them is because there's always someone to relate to, and I feel like you can listen to a podcast wherever, and it feels like you have community because you are listening to these people talking or you're watching these people.
Yeah.
And so it kind of feels like you have this like little community with people, and I love that idea. And actually, the reason why I was inspired to text you was my friend was listening to this podcast because so have you
Okay,
heard?
so long story
Okay,
moment. Here we go.
hold on.
Cue it up.
Have you heard of the artist David Kushner, the Daylight song?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew who it is.
Okay. So we went to his concert, me and my friend, and then my friend found that so his fiance, I think she's his fiance, she has a podcast, and so
Okay.
she started listening to it,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is really good. You should listen to it." And I was like, "Okay." So I checked it out and I listened to it while I was driving to like Target or something, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is like I like this a lot. This is really good." And she just talked about like kind of like life, and she mentions like a little bit of her testimony in it, and
Oh, cool.
so yeah, it just talks about like everything and like anything and everything.
Yeah, just like, hi, I'm a real person.
Yeah, exactly.
I struggle with the same things you do.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was really cool. And I was like, that'd be really cool if we did a podcast for like youth. Like it just kind of popped into my head.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was like, I should text Cole. I should text him. It's like, I don't want to because I feel like it's kind of weird just to be like, hey, we should start a podcast. But then I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Just be like, hey, this is just an idea, just to get it out. I think it was probably at like 10 o'clock at night that I texted you, right? I feel like it was late.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
it was not after 11. My limit's 11. I stopped texting students back at 11.
oh, yeah.
Because nothing good happens after
weird.
11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Unless you really need to, hit me up. But like,
Uh-huh.
then we'll figure something out. But
yeah,
if you're gonna ask me about a podcast, don't do it after 10.
Because I was really going to bed, and I was like, I just need to text him because
I'll sleep better.
Yeah, because I was like, I need to just get that out of my head, and so I don't stop procrastinating it. And then,
yeah.
And then you texted me, and you were like, hey, actually, that's a really good idea. And so
yeah, I had wanted to do this last year.
Oh, really?
Just something like I just feel like it's really cool. A little side story. I feel like on Wednesday nights, like I don't participate in a small group for students.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a ton of connection with like individual students outside of Wednesday. We have student leadership and like I have students that I talk to, mentors, stuff like that. But I don't have like that like tight knit group.
Yeah.
And so I was praying about it and like, God, like I just love doing the big group stuff because that's where I have influence. But I know the small group stuff is really important.
Yeah.
He says, so how do I fit? And he goes, oh, Cole, like all of the time that you would be investing into that small group, you're going to create community outside of Wednesday night.
Okay.
So you need to figure out how to like reach a bigger group of people in a small group outside of Wednesday night. And so that launched me into starting a Discord channel for our gaming students.
Right.
And joining them on Fortnite and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That launched into this. Like I was doing a deep dive before you texted me on like youth podcasts, like different pastors. I love the Youth Nation out of Elevation Church, Youth Nation Gaming, Youth Nation, their podcast. Really cool stuff that they put out. They also have connections that I don't have. So like they have like incredible, like Mike Todd was on their podcast.
Oh,
like, obviously Stephen Furtick is on their podcast, and like
Tim Roth
was just on their podcast.
I love that episode.
Tim Roth is another kind of animal, so
yeah,
we won't talk about him right now, but
he's sick though.
He is very authentic. Very much says what's on his mind. Anyways, he's got a kind of a dope podcast if you're into like I would say like finding Jesus in the mundane and like bringing Jesus into like every aspect of your life, even aspects that you wouldn't think about it. His podcast, The Basement, Basement. They call their audience the dwellers because they're basement dwellers.
The basement dwellers.
It's kind of
you have to go to the basement to reach the top.
Yeah, you gotta go low to go high.
That's what it is.
Yeah, which I actually say too. So I didn't steal from Tim Ross. I think I got it on my own, but maybe not. I don't know. You gotta go low though. We gotta go humble to go high. Anyways, so really cool. I just did a deep dive and then I was like, yes, youth podcast, let's send it. Like I want to have another way for students to connect with us throughout the week.
Yeah.
So if you listen to the podcast, I'm stoked that you do. And if you don't go to youth here and you get inspired by this, I hope that you find Jesus wherever you're at and that you love the podcast too.
Yeah.
That's kind of my heart for the podcast. Even like that's the second question that we want to answer today is like, what is our heart for the podcast? That's my heart, that people would be able to like, Jesus is not here just when we're at church. He's with us all the time. And so we'll talk about real life stuff, where we're at in the Bible, like what we're reading. We'll interview different people that we know from the community. Would love to get some like big name interviews. Like that'd be
really cool. Yeah.
I have a few people in mind, but we'll work up to it.
Yeah.
We should do one on Wednesday. On Wednesday we have I don't know, this will probably go out tonight or tomorrow, this podcast. But on Wednesday, January 10th, Reverend John O'Gates come and speak at youth.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't
that's
talked
sick.
about it much, but we're having John O'Gates, so we might
cool.
we might do like a short podcast episode with him, just like a 10,
that'd be
15 minutes.
sick.
Like, hey, John, like, what's up? Talk to us about who you are and like
On Wednesday
Alright.
before
youth. That would be really cool.
that'd be sick.
I'll try to get him here.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, you're free, right? You
Yeah.
don't start school yet.
I started school on Wednesday, but that's just orientation, so
Don't have to go.
no. Well, it's just online, so I don't really
Online
have to.
orientation. What is that? Log in and watch Netflix.
Yeah. No, you have to. Yeah, there's a lot more to it. But it's
Never
just,
mind.
yeah.
Okay, so that's my heart for the podcast. I think that's kind of your heart for the podcast,
Yeah.
even without putting words to it. But
No, yeah, I feel like just kind of like how like what you were saying is like reaching people outside of church and
Mhm.
outside of youth, like
if you can't be here, like I want you to be able
exactly.
to still feel connection.
Yeah, and just people because it's like hard because like life is very busy, especially if you're doing school and you have a job or you're at sports and
For real.
so life is really busy. And if you can't make it to church on Sunday or church on Wednesday, like I want this to be something that like you can still like get something out of and you can still feel like connected to
Yeah.
church and just also something else that you can that might help you grow in your faith in who you are because you can listen to a podcast like when you're driving or when you're like working out or at home, like whatever works for you. So like I want this to be something that is still influential for you and something that you can still get something out of it and just so you can experience just like more of Jesus. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited about the mini micers, the mini mic podcast. I know sometimes it's a joke, but we are really hoping that like this impacts you in positive ways and that ultimately like God gets glory and we get to talk and have some great conversations. So that is all for this one. This is intro our third episode, but that's okay because we're just gonna come put these out like whenever they come out right now. We don't have a crazy audience. We're just trying to just trying to make some waves.
Just trying to
let's make ripples that turn into waves. How about that?
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That's easier.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's all I do is
Quote.
analogies.
I'm gonna start.
Don't quote me.
I should start quoting him right now.
Everyone says that. Don't quote me. Everyone is in you and Kylie. All right. Anyways, so we're gonna sign off for the intro episode. Mark this as Mini Micers season 1, episode 3/1.
Can we move this to like?
Technically,
can we pin it?
Could rename
like
them.
at the. Can we like pin it in like YouTube or something or on Spotify so it's like the first?
Well, I have a playlist, so I'll just like put like watch this first in the playlist or something.
Okay, that's cool.
We'll find a way.
Yeah.
We'll find a way. We're really trying to make the whole thing work with like not having 2 accounts because we want to use the momentum from both to like propel it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's dope. So find us on Spotify.
Yeah.
Apple.
Yeah. I hope you like it.
Comment, subscribe.
I hope you like it. I always try and pray before this, just that like God can bless this podcast, and even if like one person is impacted by it for an episode, it's worth it. So that's
awesome.
That's also my heart for it.
That's so good. How about you just pray for us right now?
Oh,
it's awkward, but let's do it.
That's so awkward. All right. Okay. All right, dear God, I guess we just pray for this podcast that whoever's listening to it, wherever they are physically or wherever they are mentally and in their life, that they are able to reach to that this reaches them and that there is something that they can pull from this that blesses either their day or their life, is impactful for them, and it just helps them feel more connected to you, God. And I just pray that even if not the podcast, if it's just the sermons that we post too, like that they could get connected to that would be awesome, and that they just are able to grow. And I just pray for inspiration and impactfulness through this podcast. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Peace out, Mini Micers.
See ya.
I just